Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Illusion. I know today is Monday, and my episodes usually comes on Sunday, but I had a delay due to personal reason. But here we are, back. Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend. Uh, Today it seems to be a bit windy in Sydney, so well, stay warm and stay safe. So, over the weekend, I was talking to a couple of my mates, and something caught my attention, which was also just circling around in my tiny brain uh, as well. So, everyone in cybersecurity, obviously everybody, and including myself, we are constantly trying to improve. You learn something new every day. The tech changes. You learn something about something new, operational, some from leadership perspective, so and so. We all evolve. Right, you think understand a certain topic, let's say you understand cloud, then there is Kubernetes. You understand Kubernetes, then AI joins the meeting, and suddenly everybody wants to know, hey, why the model has a cluster admin. So developing capability never really stops, of course. And over the last few months, I have also been talking to different people about careers, hiring, capability, leadership, what skills matter, uh, what organizations are actually struggling with, and what they are looking for. And many times I have also heard this phrase which keeps coming up, the cybersecurity skills gap. We hear it everywhere. Australia has cyber skills gap. The world has a cyber skills gap. Companies cannot find cyber talent. We need more people. We need more graduates. Some will say, no, 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 we need more training. And every time I hear it now, I have started asking the same question as well. Okay? But then I asked another question to myself. Okay, if we have cybersecurity skills gap, but okay, what actual gap? Right? Not in a philosophical way. I'm asking literally, what gap or what skill are we missing? Because cybersecurity is not one skill. Correct, right? And there are so much beyond, or there are so many, let's say, sub branches to what cybersecurity skill or cybersecurity is. And while we were discussing about, uh, Bob shared an article with me about CyberCX and Monash University launching a new Bachelor of Cyber AI. And I thought, okay, this is definitely interesting. A university, a major cyber company, AI, of course, everybody loves that. Industry experience, a pathway into employment. There could be something genuinely useful here. And the announcement also talked about addressing Australia's cybersecurity skill shortage. Yeah, that phrase again. So, after I came back, I started looking at it more closely. I wanted to read the article. And firstly, just to make this clear upfront, this is not about the article. This is not about attacking CyberCX or attacking Monash. It's not about saying this course is good or bad, right? For me, it is just a reference point. Consider these are simply the trigger of a bigger question for me. Because before we solve cybersecurity skill gap, I think we need to understand what exactly we mean by it. And that's what this particular episode is about. So, coming back to the question, what skill? And let's make this practical. So, let's say you hear it again, or if somebody tells me, or let's say Bob tells me, we have a cybersecurity skills gap. As chip. Okay, cool. Where? That would be my first question. Are you saying you don't have people to write code? Or are you saying they are able to write codes but they don't understand what secure coding is? Are we looking for people, or we have gap where they cannot identify a vulnerability, or they can identify a vulnerability but cannot explain the risk, cannot remediate it? Do they know, or they do not know about the control. Actually, can they configure SIM? Can they investigate alert? Can they understand identity, network, endpoint, threat intelligence, incident response, governance risk? Where is the gap, mate? Because all of these are cybersecurity, isn't it? And they are not interchangeable. You can have an excellent red teamer who has never run a SOC or never been part of a SOC. You can have a brilliant SOC analyst who should never be allowed near a production firewall change. It's okay. You can have a great governance person who understands risk extremely well but cannot write a SIM query to search a simple log. And that is fine. Why? Because they are different capabilities, aren't they? The problem starts is when we bundle all of them together and say we need more cyber people. Okay, cyber people to do what and more of what? Right? And that's where our discussion led further with Bob. He shared the article with me and we started talking about whether the industry genuinely has a shortage. And the conversation moved quickly into usual categories. Right? It's normal when we talk about cyber. Okay, it's a red teaming, blue team, purple teaming. Oh my goodness. Apparently, cybersecurity has become a deluxe catalog. Then you add detection engineering, threat intel, incident response, vulnerability management, security engineering, cloud, GRC, so much stuff to do. Now tell me again, can you tell me where is the skills gap? See, if you tell me that, okay, Chip, we have a shortage of experienced detection engineers who understand our tech stack and can write a high quality or high fidelity behavioral detections. Okay, then we have something useful, isn't it? Because now you know what the exact problem is. And I think, and hopefully you agree as well, this is a capability problem. And by knowing this, we can actually do something with that. But if we keep saying we have cyber skills gap, that is like going to a doctor and saying, hey, my body hurts. A good starting point, of course, but it's not good enough for a treatment. Correct. And if we continue talking about this doctor analogy, imagine the healthcare industry announce, hey, we have medical skills gap. Okay, what do you want? Do you want or do you need more surgeons? Do you need more nurses? Do you need more radiologists? Maybe do you need more GPs? Do you need more physiotherapists? Where? Right? Because you would never build a workforce strategy around simply producing more medical people. Right? You wouldn't identify the capability shortage. So why are we not doing the same with cybersecurity? Correct? Cybersecurity should be no different. But what I'm saying, somehow we have become comfortable talking about cyber as though everybody is performing the same job. No, they don't. Right? So let's take a SOC example. SOC is Security Operations Center. Someone might say, hey, we need to hire more analysts or we need more SOC analysts. Fine, perfect. Okay, my question is to do what? Because even inside a SOC, what exactly is missing? Right? Everybody runs SOC operations, everybody has it architected in a different way. Correct? Do you need more people to triage alerts? Do you need people who can investigate complex identity compromise? Do you need people who can reverse or understand malware? Do you need incident responders? Do you need detection engineers? Maybe you need more stronger technical leadership. Right? What exactly you are trying to get here? Because what I think is by just adding 10 junior analysts does not automatically solve a detection engineering problem. Correct. And hiring one fantastic incident responder It's not going to fix your poor tier 1 investigation quality. Right? That's the capability issue, not an headcount issue. Make sure that headcount and capability, they are two different things. Make sure you understand that. And this is where I think the phrase skills gap starts becoming dangerous. Yeah, I used that word. Because it can make us think that the solution is more people when the actual issue is the capability design. Right. And when we talk about skills, when we talk about people, or when we talk about capability, the natural progression for us to understand is the experience, right? The experience helps to all my gamer nerds, myself as well. Experience gets you much more higher level. And what I'm seeing is organization also keep saying we cannot find experienced cyber people. That may be completely true. But then the question becomes, what are we doing to create experienced people? Because for me, experience does not arrive solely from a university degree. Correct? And it does not arrive from a certification as well. Right? Those things create knowledge. Obviously, discipline. Yep. For me, experience comes from doing the work, making decisions, getting things wrong, picking up call from your manager that hey, you missed this, investigating those incidents, writing detections and realizing oh, it created multiple false positives, fixing broken controls, dealing with difficult and challenging stakeholders, being on the call when something actually goes wrong. That's the exposure, and that takes experience, and that's the experience that everybody needs in cyber, in life, in any industry, or in any field you are. And this is where the article from CyberCX and Monash announcement actually becomes very interesting. Not because there is AI in title, like everything has now AI in the title, correct? Maybe my air fryer will probably have an AI governance committee next year. Who knows? But the interesting bit is that students are expected to get industry exposure around year 2 and year 3. Something that I like because that potentially addresses something much more important. What? The gap between learning cybersecurity and actually doing cybersecurity. Correct. Because if we look at just degrees and certification, as I've mentioned, they are education. Education is not experience. So let's say we produced 1,000 new cybersecurity graduates. Sounds good? Yay, good for university. But what did we actually create? Ask that question. We created 1,000 people with education, correct? But can we say that we create 1,000 incident responders? We created 1,000 detection engineers? We create 1,000 cloud security architects? No, I know somebody, oh, Knall, Chip, these are specialization. I know, I don't disagree with it. Right? And whoever does the education, those team or those people still need to develop. I totally agree. But someone has to give them a practical exposure to achieve that, isn't it? Somebody has to mentor them. Somebody has to let them investigate. Somebody has to review their work. Someone has to help them from, hey, I understand the concept, but we need to move towards, hey, I can do this independently in production. And that transition is where I think a lot of real workforce problem sits. And then Bob asked me this again while our conversation was going on that, okay, so check, if there are so many people trying to get into cyber, why do companies still say they cannot find people? And hey, it's a right question, right? Because both things can be true. You can have hundreds of applications and still have capability shortage, right? Maybe those applicants do not have experience required. Maybe the role is too specialized. Maybe the organization wants someone who understands the five different tech. I don't know why. Maybe the salary does not match the requirement. One should prove their worth. Anyway, maybe the job description is unrealistic. Maybe the organization does not want to invest the time required to develop somebody. And that is why applicant numbers alone do not tell us whether we have capability we need, right? We see uh, LinkedIn is a very good example. You see one job, sometimes you will see 200, 300 applicants being received. And that does not mean that we have 200 people who are exactly what organization wants. And this is where the issue starts as well, where the requirement is not clear, or the person who just wants to get in, they are trying, there are some overseas, they want to move to a different country. There are many um, parameters within when they apply. But bottom line is, if you see 200 applicants for a job role, that does not mean all 200 qualify. Again, it also does not mean the organization was very clear in requirements. It does give some job description, but that's just the process, right? And what I also mentioned, within those applicants, you will always see people with entry level as well. I have seen those advertises. People wants to get in, they just directly jump onto incident responder or certain particular cyber stream because this is something that they're interested in. And this makes me always smile. Makes me smile always. I don't know. Okay, what I was looking at other entry level analyst positions and entry level cybersecurity analyst. The requirement starts with 2 to 3 years of experience. Okay, why? They also put certifications like CISSP. I have seen it. We want cloud experience. We want SIM experience. We want experience in incident response, PowerShell, MITRE attack, and ability to reverse engineer ransomware during the lunchtime. Like, come on. And at some point, it is no longer an entry level role. The research behind this episode found real evidence of employers asking for certifications such as CISSP and CISA for junior and entry level positions, and I was surprised. And when those positions remain vacant, what exactly are we measuring? What do you think? Are we measuring talent shortage, or a mismatch between what the role is called and what the organization actually wants? If you can answer that, it's a distinction. The distinction matters over here. Right. And I'm not sure because I cannot see who applied, but I can definitely see from the organization perspective because it's a public advertisement. And I realized, okay, maybe the gap is inside the organization. Should we consider that? Right? Because that is another possibility we did not talk about enough. Maybe some of the skills gap exist inside organizations already. Possible? Because it's part of the process. A lot of organizations first internally they wait for a few days or weeks and then they go out externally, right? Maybe some of the skills gap exist inside organization already, where I started with. You might already have good people, but they have not been given the opportunity to develop. Is it possible? Right? Maybe your SOC analyst could become a detection engineer. Maybe your system engineer could move into cloud security. Maybe your risk analyst could develop a deeper tech capability. Maybe someone in IT could move into cybersecurity with the right training and mentoring. But organization often default to external recruitment, and I don't know each and every one of course, right? But it has happened, and external recruitment works because there are times that we want somebody ready now, right? Which makes us, or which makes sense operationally, right? You are filling a position back to back. But if every company takes the approach, don't you think we are creating a bit of strange market? Because if everybody wants experienced people, then great. But who is actually going to create them? Then I ask about it. And then everybody attends a conference and for some reason talks about skill shortage again. But I think we should be also talking about how can we create more experienced individuals, right? So when we ask that question, another natural question comes to me. So what gap do we actually have? We started this with before, right? And this is where I eventually landed. I think maybe we should stop saying we have cybersecurity skills gap, and we should start saying things like, hey, we have insufficient cloud security capability. We lack experienced incident responders. Our tier 1 analysts are not developing fast enough. We have a detection engineering capacity problem. We cannot retain our senior security engineers. Our salary band cannot attract the capability we require. Our entry level hiring requirements are too high. Our graduates do not have enough operational exposure. When you ask this question, you will be able to answer. And you will be able to make a decision. Because at that time, you know what to fix. Because each of those needs a completely different intervention, isn't it? Every question has a different answer. One will require training, other will require hiring, then there is mentoring, then there is automation, then there is better pay, better retention, maybe better job design, or maybe simply changing the architecture so you need less specialist effort in the first place. And coming back to the article and what we discussed over the weekend was about the model that Monash and CyberCX. I believe it deserves a fair look. Firstly, it may or may not prove successful. I don't know. Nobody knows that as of today. The course has not started, as far as I know. We do not know the graduate outcomes. We do not know all the commercial arrangements. We do not know how many students will eventually move into CyberCX or other organization. So there is no point pretending we know. But from a concept perspective, I like it. Especially what I like about this is industry exposure. Because that starts addressing the transition from education to capability. And that may be more valuable than simply creating another qualification. CyberCX obviously gets value from partnership too, right? They get access to emerging talent. Obviously, there is branding there. They will be able to set a very good curriculum from their own experience. They could also have a very good recruitment pipeline, which is normal. It's how partnership should be, right? And for me, the sensible position is that students, university, and industry can all benefit at the same time. And that was my call, right? But coming back to the core of the episode, where is the illusion? And for me, the illusion is when we say cybersecurity has a skills gap. That's where the illusion sits. Because when you hear that statement, everybody says yes, everybody nods. Why? It sounds obvious. But for me, maybe we need to stop nodding for a second and ask, okay, which skill which role, which capability, which level of experience, which tech, which business requirement, right? Because cybersecurity is not one profession anymore, it is an ecosystem of very different capabilities. And if we do not define the gaps properly, we cannot solve it. It's as simple as that, right? Because producing more graduates, training existing people, changing hiring practices, paying people properly, keeping good people, building internal pathways, having industry integrated education, all of this may help, yes, but none of those is automatically the answer of it, right? Because the answer depends on the gap. So, next time when somebody tells you we have a cybersecurity skills shortage, sit down, maybe have a beer, and ask them one question: what exactly can't we do today? Because the answer tells you much more than the number of vacancies will ever will. I am Kunal, aka Chip. This is Beyond the Illusion. Have a good day. See you next time.